This is the 23rd Sunday after Pentecost. And again, our lessons deal with what will happen when Jesus returns at the end of time. And in the Gospels and in the other lessons for today, there is a sense of judgment. It's kind of like when the teacher leaves the room and comes back to discover that the kids have been misbehaving. Or if mom is sitting in one room and you hear her shout, "Don't make me come back there and find out what you're doing," because you know that when mom gets back there, somebody's going to get it. That's the word that the prophet Zephaniah shared with the people of Israel. It was a word of warning because they had not lived the way God had wanted them to live. They had not cared for God's people the way God had wanted them to. And so in our first lesson this morning, Zephaniah says, "Be silent before the sovereign Lord, for the day of the Lord is near. The Lord has prepared a sacrifice. He has consecrated those he has invited. At that time I will search Jerusalem with lamps and punish those who are complacent, who are like wine left on its dregs, who think the Lord will do nothing, either good or bad. Their wealth will be plundered, their houses demolished. Though they build houses, they will not live in them. Though they plant vineyards, they will not drink the wine. The great day of the Lord is near, near and coming quickly. The cry on the day of the Lord is bitter. The mighty warrior shouts his battle cry. That day will be a day of wrath, a day of distress and anguish, a day of trouble and ruin, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and blackness, a day of trumpet and battle cry against the fortified cities and against the corner towers. I will bring such distress on all people that they will grope about like those who are blind, because they have sinned against the Lord. Their blood will be poured out like dust, and their entrails like dung. Neither their silver nor their gold will be able to save them on the day of the Lord's wrath. In the fire of his jealousy, the whole earth will be consumed, for he will make a sudden end of all who live on earth." Here ends the cheerful first lesson for this morning. Psalm 90 is a lament. It is a psalm of petition to God, asking for his help. You'll find it in the front of your hymnals on page 258. We're going to read the first 8 verses. We'll read them responsively. I'll read the odd number verses. You'll read the even. Psalm 90, verses 1 through 8, page 258. Lord, you have been our refuge from one generation to another. Before the mountains were brought forth, or the land and the earth were born, from age to age you are God. You turn us back to the dust and say, "Go back, O child of earth." For 1,000 years in your sight are like yesterday when it is past, like a watch in the night. You sweep us away like a dream. We fade away suddenly like the grass. In the morning it is green and flourishes. In the evening it is dried up and withered. For we consume away in your displeasure. We are afraid because of your wrathful indignation.
Our iniquities you have set before you, and our secret sins in the light of your countenance.
For our second lesson, we continue with hearing from Paul's first letter to the Thessalonians. As we've been saying, this is a letter that deals with the imminent return of Jesus. In fact, after his ascension, the early church believed that he would be returning within just a matter of days. And so Paul is writing to the Thessalonians and encouraging them to be alert, because you do not know when that time is going to be. It's kind of like when you're sitting at home and the fire detector goes off. You know you have to act, and you have to act quickly. From Paul's first letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 5, beginning at verse 1. St. Paul writes, "Now concerning the times and the seasons, brothers and sisters, we do not need to have anything written to you. For you yourselves know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. When they say, 'There is peace and security,' then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and there will be no escape. But you, beloved, are not in darkness, for that day to surprise you like a thief. For you are all children of light and children of the day. We are not of the night or of darkness. So then let us not fall asleep as others do, but let us keep awake and be sober. For those who sleep, sleep at night, and those who are drunk, get drunk at night. But since we belong to the day, let us be sober and put on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet, the hope of salvation. For God has not destined us for wrath, but for obtaining salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ, who died for us, so that whether we are awake or asleep, we may live with him. Therefore encourage one another and build up each other, as indeed you are doing." Here ends the second lesson. We rise to the good news of the gospel. This is the gospel according to Matthew, the 25th chapter, beginning at the 14th verse. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus said to the disciples, "For it is as if a man going on a journey summoned his slaves and entrusted his property to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, to another 1, to each according to his ability. Then he went away. The one who had received the 5 talents went off at once and traded with them and made 5 more talents. In the same way, the one who had the 2 talents made 2 more talents. But the one who had received the 1 talent went off and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of the slaves came and settled accounts with them. Then the one who had received the 5 talents came forward, bringing 5 more talents, saying, 'Master, you handed over to me 5 talents. See, I have made 5 more talents.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master.' And the one with the 2 talents also came forward, saying, 'Master, you handed over to me 2 talents. See, I have made 2 more talents.' His master said to him, 'Well done, good and trustworthy slave. You have been trustworthy in a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Enter into the joy of your master.' Then the one who had received the 1 talent came forward, saying, 'Master, I knew you were a harsh man, reaping where you did not sow, and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid. And I went and hid your talent in the ground. Here you have what is yours.' But the master replied, 'You wicked and lazy slave. You knew, did you, that I reap where I did not sow, and gather where I did not scatter? Then you ought to have invested my money with the bankers, and on my return I would have received what was my own with interest. So take the talent from him and give it to the one with the 10 talents. For to all those who have, more will be given, and they will have an abundance. But from those who have nothing, even what they have will be taken away. As for this worthless slave, throw him into the outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Here ends the gospel lesson. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Please be seated and we'll sing our sermon hymn.